Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. If this is your first time here, go down and click subscribe. If you're a return viewer or subscriber, thank you very much. I do appreciate each and every one of you. If you need IT consulting, go to williehowe.com, fill out that contact form, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Now, I get a lot of questions from people starting out in IT. You know that this channel's an educational outlet, and we're about building community and things like that. I get a lot of questions about how do you get started, and so what I wanted to do is I'm going to also do a home lab video at some point. This video I wanted to get out because the question came up a lot over the weekend, and I'm working on like the QNAP video and Synology videos and Cisco videos and all that, but and the GrandStream videos, but this came up, like these things that like cluster up, like I like to get a video out about those. And one of the things was, you know, how do I do X in an interview, or how do I do X for a job application, or how do I get into IT, things like that. Just some like very similar things. And so I wrote a couple pages of notes in the Remarkable here about, resume tips for IT job seekers. And this may apply to other careers, but I am specifically involved in, hiring IT people, looking at resumes, things like that. So I just want to give this to you from my perspective. So these are in no particular order. I'm just going to go through them, and then also I'd like you to leave, your tips for people down in the comments. So the first thing is your cover letter. If you don't have all of the skills listed for the job, the cover letter is a place where you can kind of let them know that even though you may not have all the skills, that you're willing to learn. And that's a lot of times what people are looking for, is that our people are willing to learn, willing to expand their knowledge base, right? So don't be afraid to say that you don't have a skill, but that you're willing to learn it, if you really are willing to learn it. If you're not willing to learn it, then don't do that. And also remember that you need to craft your cover letter and your resume towards the position that you're applying for. You also want to give them a good reason why they should keep looking at your information and why they should interview you or possibly even hire you. So that cover letter, keep it at one page, keep it short and sweet, and that is like you want to make an impact, right? So how do we do that, right? How do we group these skills and these things together so that we can have that impact? My recommendation to you is, even if you have little to no work experience, if you're just coming out of school or whatever, take the time to kind of analyze your skill set, whether it's soft skills, whether it's technical skills, and like keep this running list, literally, physically, get you a notebook and write it out, or get a Word document and write this out. And just put all of your skills or things that you've had experience with, just write them on paper, and then they're there. Then you don't have to like search your mind and really stress yourself out, thinking about those things. And so you'll have like this resource pool for your skills for your cover letter and your resume. So that is something that I try to do, is I try to keep a list of those things. And I'm always learning new things, so that list always has to update. It's very challenging, and it's actually a pretty rewarding exercise to do that. If you have, let me give you an example of that, right? If you understand TCP/IP, or you understand part of like the TCP/IP handshake, write that down. Or if you understand enough, or if you understand enough about Python to look at a script and be able to decipher what it's doing, but maybe you don't know how to write it, at least you understand how to read it. You may not, and so there are a lot of people that don't even know how to read code, right? So you could say, I understand how to read code, and I understand how to interpret part of it, so don't cut yourself short, but also don't like puff yourself up either. Like I said, always write your cover letter and resume towards the position that you're applying for. So each one should be different for each company that you're applying for, each position. If those positions are different, make sure you're gearing the cover letter and the resume towards that position. Be honest. That's a super important thing. Do not put skills and accomplishments in the resume that you don't have, because you're going to run up against somebody technical at some point, hopefully, if you're applying for a tech job, and they're going to be able to see right through that as soon as they start asking questions. So if you don't have the skills, don't list them. Be honest. We would rather have people be honest because well, we'll get to this. And this is why I say this. I don't care what your college professor taught you or what some paid resume service is teaching you. Always be honest, because if whatever's on your resume during an interview is pretty much, it's open range, right, for people to ask questions. So if I see a skill listed, and I've seen this happen time and time again, I may ask you about it, or I'm probably going to ask you about it, depending on if I'm gauging the situation, right? Like if you just graduated college and you list something like Wireshark as a skill set, and I'm using this as a specific example, I've seen colleges tell kids, list all these things that you had classes on, and then when I start peppering people with questions like how to write filters and just weird like things that you're probably not expecting to come at you in the interview, I get this deer in the headlight looks. That's not good for the person that's interviewing. Like, if you really didn't know it, if you can't explain it to me, that's great that you know what Wireshark is, but when you tell me in the skill section that you know how to use Wireshark, and then you can't even explain it, and you just say you had it in class, that's not good. So make sure you're only listing skills you are comfortable opening the door for people to ask you questions about. That's part of being honest. Like I said, don't puff yourself up. Just be honest. Here's another thing that I really like when people are into details. And so if you are going to have an in-person interview, I always like it when the candidate, and some people may go, oh, well, this is kind of like common sense, but it's not. Like, it really says something to me when a candidate will call and ask what the dress code is for the interview. Because some places dress codes are different. If you're going to interview, and I'm just using this as an example, at a Google or a Microsoft or a Facebook or some startup, the dress code's probably going to be different. It's some places don't even have a dress code. And this is 2021, and more things are acceptable now, and they should be more acceptable now. You know, earrings, tattoos, piercings of all sorts. Or, you know, we shouldn't judge people by these things, because that's not indicative of their skill set, right? If they can do the job, you know. So just have an open mind about that. But I would always call and ask what the dress code is. If you really want to work for the company that you're interviewing for, take some notes as to why you want to work for the company, because this could probably come up in a resume. Like, why do you want to work here? Why should we hire you? Those types of questions are probably going to come up. Do yourself a favor. Go out, check out the company website, browse around the company website, look at the About Us, look at, you know, all the information. Do just a general Google search and see what you can find out about the company. That's probably going to pay dividends in an interview. If you have, here's another thing. I've seen people put expired credentials for certifications on their resume. I wouldn't recommend doing that. If you want to make it known that you had these credentials, I would figure out how to work it into the conversation. When we're talking about skill sets or talking about education or things like that, bring it up. Say, hey, I had my CCNA and it expired, but it is definitely something that I could go obtain again, right? So try to work that in, but I wouldn't put expired certifications on your resume. And just remember, if it's listed in your cover letter or on your resume, it's fair game. So be prepared to answer all of those questions. So I hope this gives you a little bit of an idea of what technical folks may be looking for when they are doing an interview with somebody looking for that technical job. If you are someone who hires technical folks, let me know down in the comments what kind of things that you look for. If you're a job seeker, also ask those kinds of questions, and let's see if we can help each other out. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. If you need IT consulting, go to williehowe.com, fill out that contact form, and someone will be with you as soon as possible. If you'd like to support the channel by using all of our affiliate links, they are down below. They don't change your price, but they do kick a couple bucks to the channel. Once again, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.